Greetings, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this session. In this session, we want to set up our footprint chart so that we have a footprint chart. But before anything else, let me point out that when I was recording the introductory tutorials, it was 2023, 2 years ago. Now it's 2025. Back then, I introduced the MZ indicator, but now it's 2025. MZ is a heavy indicator. In 2025, I personally use the DT indicator. And in this part, in this tutorial, I want to introduce the DT indicator to you because this indicator is very light and I personally use it in my templates. So first we'll go and set up our footprint chart for DT together, and then the video will cut and the tutorial from 2 years ago will play. So if you happen to notice later that the chart is different from the one we're setting up at the beginning of the video, don't be surprised because part of that tutorial, the last part, was from 2 years ago. It's not much different, but if there's a small difference, don't be surprised. Well, to run the footprint chart, you need to open a chart. Go to the Control Center or Ninja Console into the chart section and, for example, I'll open 6E, which is the Euro-dollar symbol. Don't change the settings. Let them stay at default. For this indicator, since you don't need to enable tick replay, it's very light. That's why I personally like this indicator and use it. I'll click OK to bring it up. It's running on the other monitor. Once your chart is open, go to the indicator section, and when this window opens for you, scroll down and find DT order flow bar. DT order flow bars. DT order flow bars, I've emphasized it a few times so you don't forget. Click add, but don't click OK yet. You need to apply some changes. Go to the size ladder look section and make this color transparent. Follow the exact changes I'm applying in order. Set these numbers to 0. Make this color transparent and the two below it transparent as well. If your background, like mine, is black, you must choose white for this part so the footprint numbers are white. If your background is white, this color must be chosen as black. Again, make these two below it transparent. Again, scroll down, make these two colors transparent too. Uncheck this box and click OK. We'll apply the rest of the changes on the chart. A chart will open for you that's very cluttered, but don't worry, we'll apply the remaining changes together. In this top tab, click OFB. Go to Unfinished Auction and uncheck Enable. In the CB tab, check these boxes. Check these boxes in this section too. Pay attention here, my dear friends. In Divergence, uncheck the Enable boxes. In the Main Data Table tab, uncheck all these boxes, only keep these 3 that I'm checking. Uncheck all these boxes. And just keep these 3 check marks that I'm setting, okay? Good. Go back to the developing section, uncheck those 2, and in the total section, check this one. In the bar section, drag all of these to the end. Check this box, and that's it, we're done. Now we have a footprint chart, and it's very lightweight. If you zoom out, it's a normal chart. When you zoom in, you can see the footprint numbers very clearly. Look, you can see the footprint numbers here. Now, some numbers are written under each candle, if you notice. For example, here it says 40 and below it -8, or this one says 29 and -11. Do not worry too much about this black number right here. We are only really concerned with these red ones, like -11, -3, and -8 for these introductory sessions. The red one, now what does this show us? It shows us the delta. What is delta? Delta tells us the net total of buyers and sellers. For example, if 100 lots were bought and 80 lots were sold, 180. When you add 100 to -80, what do you get? You get +20. That means the delta was +20 for the buyer. Or in other words, if my first explanation was a bit confusing, it basically subtracts the sellers from the buyers. It makes no difference. Whether you add a negative number or subtract them, the outcome is the same. For instance, look here, the delta is +2. Let's say that 10 lots were bought and 8 were sold. Subtracting them gives you a delta of +2. So in this 1 minute candle, the buyer's delta or their total volume was +2. Now this candle closed red, but there was still more buying in it. The delta was +7. What do we call this? We call it delta. Now what is divergent delta? What is convergent delta? I'll cut the video here. The rest of this tutorial is from the one 2 years ago, and that older tutorial will be spliced into this one, and next you'll see the tutorial from 2 years ago. So, if you happen to notice the chart changes a bit from here on, don't be surprised. It's perfectly fine. All footprint indicators are essentially the same, though they might have slight variations. I hope this has been helpful so far. Let's watch the rest of the video together. Now, if you notice, some numbers are placed at the top or bottom. these red numbers mean the delta for that candle was negative, meaning the sell volume was higher, and when it's green, it means the buy volume was higher. Naturally, in a red candle, the sell volume should be higher, but if the candle is red and the delta is green, it means that in this candle, there were more buyers. It's true, it closed red, but there were more buyers. For example, look here. It's true, it closed green, but there were more sellers, okay? We call this divergent delta. Divergent delta is defined in two ways. One is when the candle color is green and the delta is red, or the candle color is red and the delta is green, meaning the candle color is opposite to the delta. They also define it in another way. This is when you, for example, consider the POC of the day. The high of the day, the daily high. Or for example, consider a session high or a session low. The price has come and passed the high. The first delta that is contrary to that trend is called divergent delta. They don't care about the candle color anymore. In an upward move, suddenly the first candle that is red and its delta is red, or even if it's green and its delta is red, is called divergent delta. So these two were the definitions of divergent delta. Now let's go and talk about the strategies that we'll be covering. Guys, let me put this aside and bring up my own main chart. In the advanced course, you should have a chart like this, and on my side, let me change this to GC because, no, this is euro dollar. Well, that's right, that one is also euro dollar. Well, my dear friends, look and pay attention here. For example, let's check today together and see what happened. Here on my right side, in my footprint, I've brought up my CVD, so I can actually delete my CVD here. Okay, my CVD is on the right, or my cumulative delta is over there on the right side. Well, let me just stick these two together and set this to local and set this one to local as well, so both are clear together. I really want you to see it so you can understand it better. Or if I want, I can set this to global and not change this one. For example, here where we said the CVD is bullish, here where we said the CVD, guys, there are some lines on my chart that we'll cover later, but they all come from VWAP. Well, we said here that the CVD is bullish. Guys, notice here the CVD is bullish. Even though the price went lower, the CVD is clearly showing a lower low was hit, but the CVD is bullish. Well, we could have bought here or look here, for example. The CVD is bullish. Now, what about our buys? Our buy strategies, we can either enter through volume. I'll cover volume in the advanced course as well. For example, notice here one sell volume hit 206, then 204. Buy volume hit 235. Sell volume hit 206. We could have entered. Yeah, this could be one of our strategies using volume or divergent delta. For example, here where the CVD was bullish, look, it's true the candles were red, but the deltas are green. They're saying, hey, we want to buy. Don't pay attention to the candle color. Maybe those who, for example, don't have this information might only look at the candle color, but our information is more precise. We know there were more buyers here. In every 1 minute candle, the buyers were stronger, okay? I really want you to pay attention to what I'm going to say next. Let me explain the volumes to you again. As you move forward, you'll see some other volumes like this. 168 here shows that 168 buy orders came in. And I really want you to pay attention to what I'm going to say next to give you another example. So we're not just looking at this one. Here, guys, if you notice, look at my left chart. We're reaching overbought territory. And the chart on the right, you see volume has hit. If you notice these red ones, let me zoom in, volume hit. If you pay attention here, the sell volume in a bullish candle, it's saying, hey, I don't want to go higher. And actually, even though the candle is green, there was more selling in it. Look, another divergent delta. You could have placed your sell stop under this volume, and your stop could be at the highest peak, which is right here. And then it reached this point. Again, pay attention, guy. And let's see what we have here, okay? It's exactly this part. Guys, I really haven't prepared any of these examples beforehand because I just don't have the patience to do that. Because you'll understand everything in the market. You don't need to do, wherever you open the chart, any day you want, you can easily figure it out. I'm not saying it's 100% profitable. No, that's not. My point is, even if you hit a stop, you'll know why. Well, guys, if you notice here, as it slowly reaches its balance, or what is known as the value area, which is actually the +1 standard deviation of the day, you can see that all of the deltas are now turning green. Buying is coming in, buying is coming, buying is coming, buying is coming. Here it's green again, buying. Here the candle is red, but there's buying in it. Well, you'll realize that, hey, you should be looking to buy here, okay? These were 3 examples I could show you from today. Here too. I think the CVD was bullish as we discussed. Well then, guys, look, I swear I didn't prepare these. Using these tools, you can understand the market every day and make profits. Here, for example, a sell volume hit, the price moved, and here a buy and sell volume hit. You could have, for instance, entered here where the sell volume hit.
But you didn't, because the CVD, guys, look at my right chart. The CVD isn't bullish here yet. Here the CVD turned bullish. Here the CVD turned bullish. We had volume before and the price goes above it. Actually, another volume hit on the way. Well, sell volume these are, and you enter above this volume here. I wanted to enter, but look at my CVD. It's bearish, so I don't enter. Here the CVD, the trend is downward. It hasn't hit those two bottoms yet, so I won't enter. But here, where it makes a lower bottom, I say, oh, there's a buyer, but no seller. So I'll come above these volumes, like this volume. Let's see how much it is. 219 to 221. Should I enter? No, you don't enter here at all. You're afraid? Another volume had hit here. Here, one sell volume. Sell volume hit, but it couldn't pull the price down. And notice in the next candle, a buyer came in and the delta turned green. You can enter here above this volume. Well, guys, let me cover the more specialized topics in the advanced course. All right, guys, everything we're talking about right now, that was all the data for level 2. Now let's take a moment and go ahead and talk in more detail about the data that we have for level 3.